teams. So that being said, I would like to pull up the next match. Here we have Temple versus Cal Poly Pomona. So let's move this up top. Okay. All right, so this is Wikipedia versus Prince Halfus. So I think Temple definitely is the higher seed, the favorite to win this. And Jeffrey definitely one of the strongest players in Division 3, 2400. Prince Halfus the board 4 for Cal Poly. So yeah, we already have a point here from Wikipedia. Strong start from their top board, as to be expected. Let's look at RB Spyro versus Edwin Ruiz, who is the leader from Cal Poly, or at least one of their leaders that I know of. Let's see. Who am I missing? Berduli Guga. Guga beat Skull Hacker. Thank you. So that is a second point for Temple. So Temple starting off strong with their top two boards, getting quick wins. Let me change the stream title and all that as well. All right. Actually, I decided to stay. What's up, Kim Stud? Always good to have you here. We got a lot of more chess underway. This is match 2 out of 3 today. Ooh, RB Spyro a little slow with the pawns here. So Edwin Ruiz going for these, but losing to those guys over there, the 2-on-1 majority. So not the best pawn and in-game technique, but still a chance at drawing perhaps. So yeah, once the queen gets to the promoting square, the king will never be able to flush the queen out. And now the king will join the party. So yeah, that's the one thing you got to watch out for, stalemate. Can Edwin Ruiz finish it out? I believe they should be able to, which will give Cal Poly Pomona their first points of the day. So they're still fighting here. Let's see if I can update that scoreboard. Edwin Ruiz, their second board, getting a point now. Here we see Twilight versus Jason. And Jason's got the time advantage, but Twilight has the bishop pair advantage. Trying to trade down queens here. And white should not trade queens. White should have left the queens on. So now getting the queens off will definitely help Twilight, because simplifying is good when you're already up material. But also getting the queens off helps with the calculation speed. And what I mean by that is with the queens off the board, it is easier to calculate moves, which gives you more time to make your moves. Less time thinking, more time moving. I like a5, just trying to break down these pawns. So now the bishop's hanging. Not sure if you can take advantage of that. Yeah, bishop here, though, just locks it in. This pawn's pretty weak, though. Anyways, Yeah, more pieces on the board. There are more moves to calculate, so it's harder to play because you're just thinking more. But yeah, I mean, black's like not really even using the rooks, just straight up using the bishops to get this pawn through. Ooh, yeah, bishop here now. I wonder if you could even throw this in just for the heck of it. But yeah, Jason playing on here, but looks like Cal Poly is going to tie up the first round, so both teams' top two boards getting points. But, you know, Twilight's been playing with some time pressure. You never know. You never know. Those also stalemate possibilities. If you give up this pawn, at least. This is always a good move to make, I think. Yeah, king on light square. There's no more light square bishop. Yeah, he's just trying to get rid of the pawns, which I totally agree with. And he's playing so fast. Pawn push for sure. And you want to, I don't know. You got to do something. Rook here, and now that's going to be promoting. Yeah, too bad there's too many pawns, right? So even if takes with check, king takes, you still have this pawn push, which is very unfortunate. And there should be a mate very soon. Yeah, mate in one. So Twilight gets the point. Let's look at Wikipedia versus Skull Hacker. So we're all tied up at 2 points apiece here. 2 and 2 after 1. Round 2 underway. Wikipedia versus Skull Hacker. So this is Sebastian Santos, board 3 from Cal Poly versus Jeffrey Cunnell, top board from Temple. And what sticks out to me in this position is not only the pawn advantage that Wikipedia has, but also the very weak c6 pawn, which is blockaded by this beautiful knight on an outpost square on c5. So if bishop ever takes, we have rook takes, and this pawn will fall. Not going to be able to save this guy because you also have rook c1 as well. So actually, the queen steps aside. I think black had a very major threat here with knight to h4, threatening checkmate. Also hitting the queen, and the queen cannot go anywhere to save the mate other than g3, where the bishop would snap that queen off. So taking time to save the situation here. Queen e2, very good move. And after the knight comes in threatening mate, we see f4, blocking the bishop's diagonal, but most importantly, saving g2 mate with the queen. So now the queen steps in, pressure on the knight. King steps over, looking to get a rook to the g file. And this is defended laterally by this rook as well. But the king steps off to the h file as well. And you do have potentially rook g1 to help out. But yeah, I'm looking at whether or not we can distract this queen somehow. Not sure if that's possible, because the queen is responsible for defending the knight. So, wow, g4. Just trying to open up this diagonal. Makes a lot of sense. This is immune. You cannot take this. Otherwise, you're going to drop that. So, okay, rook lifts. Potentially going to double on the g file. Does white capture? You don't want to hang this guy, though. So just following through this, attacking the knight. Knight's got to come back, I believe. And does so. So now that this is kind of closed, black might try to push through. Definitely not that. I don't think at least. Well, actually, maybe. But yeah, white's going to now return focus to c6. Maybe the queen will come back. Who knows? So, Skull Hacker's thinking here. Sebastian looking for a move. Oh, sacrifice on f4. I don't know if it's good. Knight takes, but now queen takes perhaps, but then like that would blunder mate in 1, so you don't want to do that. I like this. Going for it. So now the knight is hit. The rooks are very important defending this because... Oh, the knight's also defending this. So black giving up a piece for 2 pawns. In compensation. Trying to get at this king. The knight is hit though. So where does the knight go? Probably you want to go here. Looking at this. That's a strong move in my mind. We could go here. I think that's the best move. You're covering g3. Knight g3 is the threat, the fork. So, yeah, this looks like a good move to me. Trying to trade down. Actually, there's still that fork. Yeah, you're going to lose an exchange. I don't know if you can save the exchange. Yeah, rook f1 attacking the knight, but the knight goes to a much better square because now knight g3 is unstoppable. Maybe, no, you can't even, maybe you have to bring the rook away. Yeah, if you do that though, like imagine this. You don't have to go with the check. Wiki is a chess god. He still wins. So he plays rook g2, which actually is the best move, but he's still losing the exchange. Actually, is he though? Because knight g3 check, king to g1, and now the knight is pinned to the queen. What happens if king g1 after knight here? Maybe you still have this move. Because... Okay, so the queen just steps aside. And now white should be winning. You have to take with the knight. If you take with the queen, you lose the knight. If you take with the king, you're asking for trouble. But maybe Skull Hacker's asking for trouble. I don't know. No, they take with the knight, which is the most logical. So yeah. Wikipedia back into a good spot. Looking at the family fork smothered mate. Oh, and that was missed. It's not mate, but yeah, that was just missed. So Jeffrey getting the point again. Flawless. 2 for 2. And giving Cal Poly Pomona the lead again. Here we got Twilight versus Spyro. So Spyro's actually up a pawn, I believe. But white has a bishop pair, both fianchettoed. So what is going on here? White to move. Yeah. Yeah, this bishop here actually is the difference. Wow, rook takes. Huh. So the problem is after pawn takes, bishop takes, black can give it up. I think the idea in the position was that the knight on e5 could have been kicked by f4. So the queen should have come back in some capacity, playing f4, kicking the knight out, and then getting the queen and bishop lined up on the long diagonal. Would have been very, very good compensation. But now the computer is saying this crazy line here, which forces something bad for Twilight. What else is there? The threat might be this and this. I feel like you could take here maybe. No, there's rook here. So queen here. Now bishop f6 is very annoying. Very annoying. You have to go here, I think, to prevent this. So yeah, this bishop is a monster now. I think black should have even considered giving the exchange back, although you would have lost that pawn, which is unfortunate. So yeah, Twilight down material, but looking pretty good here. Oh, let's look at this game. There's no time left. Both sides under a minute. Prince Halfus seems to be in a tough spot. I feel like the queen should infiltrate. This always feels good. Bring the queen all in here. This king's got a lot of space in front of him. A lot of pawn pushes. So the queen steps back. Look at these knights from white. And this is a connected pass pawn. So the rook steps back, looking to reroute. Queen steps up. Rook comes to the open e-file. Queen steps back. Knight hitting the queen. Rook takes. Pawn takes. Yeah, pawn here. There's no stop in promotion because the queen's there. So Prince Halfus down a queen. Soon to be game over. That drops the knight. Rook here next. That, yeah. Bishop block, rook here, game over. Yep. So, Berduli, 2200 as well. Really strong 1-2 punch from Temple's top two boards. So they're taking another 2-0 lead in the second round. But Cal Poly's top two boards are not done yet. We still have Twilight and Edwin Ruiz. So Julia, strongest player from Cal Poly, gonna try to convert this game, although it's kind of tough. It's an exchange. It's a pure exchange, but that bishop on f6 is just a monster. And yeah, Julia's grabbed a pawn for it too. And they have this pass d pawn, which is looking pretty good. I think maybe rook to c7 is an idea. So can Spiral hold the exchange advantage, or is Julia gonna just put too much pressure on with the pawn and the bishop on f6? So queen here. So black just grabs on the a pawn. I think there's some gnarly tricks with this. Okay, that's a check. Ooh, rook block though. Not a big fan. Now rook d7 not only blocks the pawn but threatens to win the pawn because the rook is pinned. So the king should get off the diagonal, in my mind. Stepping back, there's no checks here. Ooh, bishop back, but now rook takes d6, and that actually wins the rook. Wow. Julia in time pressure. Is Spiral going to find it? Yeah, they find it. And where's that rook going? Oh, man, Julia. She had a great position. Even down the exchange. She's trying to save her bishop, but now the rook is hanging. And yeah, that's a gnarly pin on the a-file. And yeah, queen takes with check, forces the queen off. So very, very good from Spyro and getting the upset win. So Spyro gets a huge point for Temple. The Julia versus Julian matchup. Julian beating Julia. Here we have Edwin versus Jason. So if Edwin can win, he can help stop the bleeding. But Temple is 3-0 in round 2. Open up the gates here. Jason, the bottom board. Does not look to be in a good spot, if we're being honest. Down a piece and a pawn. And yeah, just trying to trade off here. If you go rook here, there's a nasty fork. Not a fork, but you win the rook. So trading off. So there's bishop take, rook takes. Okay. I would have done bishop takes to see if black would try to pin the bishop, because then you have bishop takes with check, winning the rook. But rook takes very active. Now the bishop is defended, but it's also pinned, right? Because there was back rank. But now king to the center, no longer back rank. C5 hits, bishop comes back. There's no back rank mate. So yeah, Edwin should be able to convert this. Again, low time. And yeah, the a-pawn's going to fall. So black's trying to be tricky still. Probably you could just get active here. This pawn structure is very annoying to deal with. Like, these pawns are not healthy. Not healthy pieces. So yeah, black takes here. This is defended though. So the rook's a little sidelined. But look at that past a-pawn go. But look at the b-pawn hanging. Oh, rook's there to defend in time, but bishop takes. Edwin had this lined up. They saw this, and now the b-pawn is definitely hanging. So maybe b5. No, just pushing this guy. Rook takes, right? Rook takes. Oh, but hold on. Rook takes. Bishop takes. Pawn push. How do you stop the promotion? Bishop back. Oh, you play here. This and this would have been needed. I don't know if Jason would have seen that. Oh, the bishop's hanging now, right? No, the pawn's defending. What am I talking about? So going for some trick here, but that just gives up the rook. So white should most definitely win this. It's only a matter of technique. Yeah, I think c4, bishop d4 would have been sufficient, but that's not the easiest way to see. I don't know if Edwin would have seen that, but Jason didn't trade off rooks there and try to run the pawn and force Edwin to find that. I think that was definitely their best chance of a comeback. Unfortunately, didn't go for that, and white did not need to find this resource in that moment and was able to just win that pawn. And so Edwin getting a point here, 2 for 2. Oh, this is not a match game. All right, so we got Spyro versus Prince Halfus. So Spyro had a big win against Julia, Cal Poly's top board. And that is definitely a huge factor for their lead. So they have a 2-point lead. If Spyro had lost that game, it would be tied. But here we are. Temple with a 5-3 lead going into second half. So this is round 3 now. Spyro playing against the 4th board. And we will have another Cal Poly match right after this one. So Cal Poly gets both their teams streamed today. And it's largely thanks to the scheduling. A lot of teams play at default time, and I can only stream one game at default time. And yeah, Temple Cal Poly decided to play an hour after default, and Cal Poly B and University of Florida's B decided to play 2 hours after default. So it just lines up perfectly for the matches, and we'll probably definitely do something similar next week for the finals matches. Ideally, we would also stream the 3rd place matches, perhaps, before the finals matches. But yeah, I was hoping that we would get something worked out with Twitch for front page. Don't think that's going to happen. So that's a little unfortunate, but I'll be talking to some people. We still have some exciting things planned in the future. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'll be talking to some people next week. But yeah, this is still good. It's fun to just stream it on here. We don't get the most viewers or hype or whatever, but we're just playing to have fun here. This is what it's all about. I think white should definitely take here, and then have brought in the rook, but deciding to bring in the rook first, which I don't think is as good because now black can take. I think taking here would have been really strong because after takes, then you have rook check. You win this. You're going to bring the second rook in. You have knight takes or something, depending on where they go. But yeah, this is still strong for white. The plan is to just push, also to just take. I mean, you could even do knight takes. Strong move. So yeah, black takes here, and that's going to help alleviate a lot of the pressure. So maybe you could even just push. I don't know. Probably you just want to take with check. And if king goes back, that's checkmate. So you don't want to do that. If king forward, I don't know. This pawn's hanging. Probably want to go here. Attack the rook, but there is knight takes. Wow, just f6 here. Trying to get rook takes in, but now there's rook g8. That's my mind. Rook g8 is defending. There's also maybe knight e6 defending. It's a little awkward, but it's possible. Hello, Nintazo. And I don't know if Donkey Kong fan's still here, but thanks for the follow. Okay, knight to g6 loses the knight. So that was not the move the Prince Halfus needed. And yeah, you should definitely just take the free piece. Oh, Wikipedia beat Edwin Ruiz. So Wikipedia might not be stoppable today. 3-0. Okay, there's rook here. There's also just taking this. The king can go down into not anything good. The king can also go back, also not into anything good. Rook here. Threatens rook check. The king would have to come here. There's this. There's also this. There's this first. This is a checkmate threat. So you probably want to stop that, would be my guess. So here now. Computer likes this move. Can't say I don't blame him. The threat is that, which would be GG. But okay, rook takes. I mean, yeah, this position is completely won. Completely won. So yeah, rook takes pawn for the knight. But now you're just down a rook. And yeah, that rook was hanging. White's threatening this now. So probably you want to save it like this. King's stepping up. So yeah, rook takes his best. And now you got to defend this maybe. Like this. Very passive. Let's look at another game. Let's look at Berduli versus Twinite. So Twinite, tough game against Spyro in the last round. Looking to bounce back against one of Temple's top 2 boards. So yeah, Jeffrey undefeated. So is Berduli. But Berduli still has 2 games left. And this is against Cal Poly's top board, Julia. So how's it looking so far? This is pretty even. Not a lot of trades. Both sides with the Fianchetto Bishop. King side, pretty even on the clock. So Berdouli now under 2 minutes. Still thinking here. Do I trade knights? Do I trade pawns? Berdouli still thinking. Okay, pushing the knight out, saying I would rather you trade for me. They do that. If bishop takes, pawn takes, we got doubled pawns, but if pawn takes, we have queen takes, undoubling the pawns, and then we have here attacking the queen. Queen steps back. This pawn would be weak, so probably don't want to do that. Also, do you want to give up the bishop for a knight when black has a dark square Fianchetto bishop? So Julie is now thinking, and the clocks are getting back to even. Oh, so Spiral won against Prince. And Skull Hacker beat Jason. So 7-4. Temple only needs a 1.5 to clinch the win. So they're very close to doing so. I think Julia needs a big win here. Skullhacker's game finished. They just started another one with Spyro. Okay, but this knight is trapped, or at least ignored. I don't know what's going on in this game. Is this theory? That was just a knight sacrifice. So knight is given back up. Yeah, crazy stuff. This is Skullhacker's last game. Oh, that's a brutal checkmate there, huh? So queen was trapped. Bishop had to be sacrificed. And after this, that must have been a mouse slip, no? I think it's mate either way. Here, there's queen here, right? Ouch. So, yeah. Skullhacker tore Jason's position to shreds. Berdouli now looks like they, yeah, knight takes. You do not want to give this up. You really don't want to give up the bishop because now rook takes, and look at these light square weaknesses, man. Wow. Look at this mistake. Bishop h6 from Julia allows rook takes, hitting the queen. And there goes 2 pieces for the bishop, or for the rook. And it's not just any 2 pieces, it's the bishop pair now that black has. Queen check. Bishop block. And now b6, hitting the queen. Queen does not take the pawn, instead goes for the trade. And this bishop actually is now stuck. So it's a little awkward. It's a little awkward because this pawn will never move. So, yeah, Julia's getting some compensation here. It's hard to say. So king steps up, unpinning the bishop. Julia has no time. 13 seconds. This is an idea. c5, queen c6. Okay. So, yeah. Bishop pair versus a rook. Should be really favorable for the bishop pair. Yeah, bishop takes. Beautiful bishop here. Bishop here. Man. Okay, it's just winning a pawn. Bishop check forces this. Or oh, that's a big old fork though. Yeah, didn't want to do that. You should have gone back. But okay. Berduli gets the point and clinches the draw. So Temple just looking for one more point to win, and they should be able to find it. Cal Poly's going to have to sweep the fourth round. Not looking likely. But it's possible. How dramatic would that be? Fourth round sweep to force the comeback for overtime. D6. I like this move a lot. A very annoying move. Threatening checkmate. So you have to deal with that. You probably want to play C6, but you're not happy about it. I don't think you really want to take because, you know, rook here, and it's very annoying. So yeah, Spyro's up material, but the king is on D8. The king does not want to be on D8. And look at this pawn, man. Look at this bishop. So all fourth round games are underway. This game's the most advanced. We still have, here we got the battle of the board fours. Both of them have lost all three of their games so far. But now in the fourth round, they're playing the other fourth board. Yeah, look at these knights all up in the center. Imagine if knight takes. Like if bishop here, knight takes, you'd have the four knights in the center like that. Although bishop here is not a good move because this knight is hanging. So the knight wants to be defended or moved. Ooh, this does not work because queen takes not only defends the knight but also defends the mate. Not to mention, it's not even mate because the king can go to d8. So, does Jason see it? No, knight back. So that was missed. Now knight takes. Looks pretty good. Queen takes, double isolates the f-pawns. It does kick the knight out. Knight could trade off here. But yeah, Jason missed a golden opportunity there. So Prince Alpha's still in it. And actually favorable after this. So this is definitely a threat now. Bishop c4 if he took the knight. You do have... maybe you're right. Let's see. I mean, what was the move here? Definitely queen takes d5 as a move. And then if here... I feel like you could just ignore f7. Because, again, king d8... I think you just take on d4 and you're attacking the knight. Queen takes king here. Okay, definitely take with the d pawn. Yeah. So now the bishop is opened up to the world. And you can castle, which is cool. Probably just bishop d7, honestly. So rook to the g file, it is opened. And this also helps prepare for bishop g4. I like this a lot. Let's go back to Skull's game. So yeah, rook on e7, pawn on d6, bishop defending the pawn. It's not too pleasant. Not too pleasant. b6 is finally played, allowing for the bishop to come out, which can help the king maybe run away. but d7's going to be hanging. So white's looking pretty good. Pretty good. Probably you want to bring here. Just get ready for that. Voila. Yeah, look at that. Queen comes back, just guarding this. That's a pretty annoying move. Here. Maybe you just go there already. Yeah, look at that. Skull Hacker finding the moves. This game should be wrapping up pretty soon. You might want to just give this up. You go here, takes, try to run away at that point, but it's going to be too little too late, unfortunately. So yeah, here there's just rook e8, queen takes. Queen takes, and you don't even have to take back at that point. You just take the pawn with check, force the queen block, and checkmate. So that was game over. So match not over yet. Skull Hacker Sebastian, the first game of 4 in this final round. We could see as a sweep. I don't think it's going to happen. How's Prince Alphys doing? Arlette Medina from Cal Poly. They're up a pawn. And arguably a better pawn structure, but black is now castled. Safe king. White still with the king in the center. Bishop pinned. Decides to castle themselves. So this looking to be a good game. Ooh, Berduli gets the win against Edwin Ruiz. Gnarly mate. What happened here? Oh, bishop here, man. Yikes. Queen here and a couple sacrifices, but that is it. So with Berduli's win, match is clinched. Berduli going flawless as a board 2. So Temple clinches the win here. There will not be a fourth round sweep forcing overtime. Yeah, rook here seems pretty good. Bishop here is going to be annoying. Opening this up. There is a check. Oh, queen takes. Interesting. Wow, look at this move. Just look at that move. Will we see? There's no way we see this move. There's no way. I would be so impressed. You perhaps against the Halloween Gambit? Yeah, we watched this. We watched it, man. That was unfortunate. That was a brutal game. Okay, so yeah, Prince Alphys up 2 pawns now. Looking pretty good, but rook pair on the G file is annoying, to say the least. Jason missed that crazy shot. Bishop takes e5, followed by queen takes e5, just opening up the G file. All right, so bishop f8, opening up the rooks. Rook lift. Maybe here to here. No, c5. Probably you want to play d5. Get the 2 connected pass pawns. Although they're not 2 connected pass pawns. Anyways, bishop here. You can trade off your doubled pawn. Let's look at Twilight versus Wikipedia. So Julia versus Jeffrey. So Julie's got the bishop pair. You can keep the bishop pair if you want. You could also trade down. Okay, so rook c2. Interesting. Bishop takes, knight takes. Queen opposite the king, so threatening to take here, I suppose. The king can simply move. Ooh, rook back. If rook takes, there's rook here, so not good. Yep, rook here. You could go rook here if you want. Probably best considering the bishop and the rook both hitting here. So queen comes in, attacking the rook again. So rook trade, queen here. So Julia forcing the queens off. She's got only 32 seconds. No material difference. This is a passed pawn. It can also become a weakness. These knights are very passive for white. So Julia just trying to trade off rooks here. She's playing really well against Jeffrey. So now the knight develops, hitting the pawn. Pawn's defended. Pawn here. So the pathway for this king is going to scoop up this pawn. So, going for the knight trade. Probably could not trade knights there. He did not want to give up the two passed pawns. So now the knight gets in defending the pawn, but yeah, I don't know. Bishop's going to try to come here, but both knights are covering it. King is coming in. Maybe going to attack the knight. Oh, yeah, you can go knight here, right? Knight takes, pawn takes, pawn takes. Is this pawn fast enough? I don't know. Ooh, Jason beat Prince Halfus. What happened? Oh, a timeout. Dang. That is unfortunate. They had a good position here. Queen e4. Got to bust that move out. So Jason gets the point between the board fours and adds on to Temple's lead. So Temple will be moving on to the finals, which is exciting. Cal Poly still going to play in the third round match next week. So there will be a third and fourth round match. So their season is not over. That's the cool thing about semifinals is all these teams will play again. And yeah, this match looking to be kind of even, though I kind of favor the knight, if I'm being honest. Because I think the knight can come around here and try to win this pawn. Meanwhile, black's king is not really entering. Like, king here should not be played. Now, yeah, now white's favored, I think. Actually, no, after you take, this pawn structure is unbeatable. The king will never be able to take this pawn, as this pawn will promote. So black is just shuffling around here. Ooh, bishop b3 would have won, I think. Because, yeah, you should not have pushed the pawn. Yeah, questionable technique from black. I don't think you needed the pawn, but I think it helped a lot to have. So this is still looking to be a draw, but Julia has no time. Yeah, after knight d1, bishop b3 hitting the knight would have been able to push the pawn through. So we have another timeout. So the Cal Poly players are getting flagged. So that is a point from Wikipedia. So both Temples, board 1 and board 2, going flawless, 4 for 4. That is that match. And we have another match. We got Florida versus Cal Poly B. So Cal Poly A not able to make the finals, but they got another shot with their B team. Let me try to follow these players. So congrats to Temple A, moving on to the finals, and they got a great shot at winning the whole thing for Division 3. So definitely one of the toughest Division 3 matchups.